Do you want to suffer the pain of now or pay later? So boys, you are going to have to pay at some point in your life, maybe it now or later. But for me, I'm suffering right now. I'm paying the price right now, because when you're young, you have the most energy. That's when you can do the most and be the most productive, and you have the least amount of responsibilities. Because when you're young, you're single, I hope you're not in a long-term relationship, because there's no point if you're in your early 20s or a teenager and you don't have any kids, you don't have any responsibilities, your bills are at all-time low, and you can live like at $100 in your paycheck because you don't have a lot of responsibilities. So right now is the time to put in the work. I highly suggest it. Society makes it where men and women, but specifically men, they have their youth, go out, party, enjoy your life, go smash hoes and all that. I do suggest you do that for a certain amount of time, not too long, like where you're chasing girls your whole early 20s and like your teenage years. I don't recommend that. Just do it for like a year or two, get your experience in. You don't want to be like a virgin. You want to get it out the way as soon as possible. But people make it where you go out every weekend, buy drinks, pre-game, go out and hit the clubs and go chase girls. You don't want to do that, because you're going to be chasing girls, and then when you're 30, you're going to be like, what the fuck? I have depression and anxiety. I don't like where I'm at in life right now. And you're going to be like, what the fuck? And then when you're in your 30s, maybe you have like a kids, marriage, and it's going to be like, it is doable, but it's going to be really hard for you to like get the life you want, because you have the kids and marriage. You don't want to leave them. You have your kids, etc. So it is going to be hard. So I recommend you guys put in the work now, or in your early 20s, mid 20s, even late 20s, in your teenage years, because that's when you have the most energy, and you'll never get that time back again, because the girls, the parties, everything, it's always going to be there. That lifestyle of partying, chasing that partying, spending your youth, going out, getting those experiences, those are mainly for women, because as a man, when you're starting out, your value is very low. You're like at zero. As men, we build up our value. Over time, we get more money, more status, more experience. So when we're in our 30s, late 20s, that's when we're at our prime years. Women, their prime years are from like age 16 to like 25, 27. And then after that, they start to hit the wall. But as a woman, if I was a woman, I would do that. I would go out every weekend, try to find the highest quality guy, become the most attractive girl I can become, and lock down a guy that's really highly successful. And those guys are looking for girls that are in their late 20s and early 30s, because they have their shit together and they want to lock down that guy. So it works vice versa. Society doesn't tell you that. I'm telling you guys right now. As a man, you start from zero from your teenage years until you're 30. As long as you put in the work, you are going to become that guy. But if you don't, you're going to become that average guy who's in their 30s, has a beer belly, and stick doesn't work. He's not in shape. He doesn't have a good life, because in his early 20s and teenage years, he was chasing girls, going partying, and all that lifestyle, which is meant for women. So back to the topic of the video is, as a man, you need to suffer, bro. I hope you suffer. I'm saying this in a loving way, because as men, we grow through discomfort and suffering. So let's compare a guy that's like good looking, has good genetics, and that's like a Chad, versus me, like a normal guy. I was like skinny, fat, low confidence, because I wasn't getting the positive reinforcement as the Chad was. He has a like nice jawline. He's maybe 6 feet tall and above, and he has like a somewhat ripped body because of his genetics. And I was a skinny, fat. That's like the worst position you could be in as a guy, being skinny, fat. You have like, you're skinny, but you still have like somewhat fat in you. Like your belly is fat, and like your jaw is like kind of fucked up because you're low on muscle. So that, I'm gonna compare like me to a Chad, like in their early 20s in high school. So the Chad, he's getting all the girls. He doesn't have to work for anything. He doesn't have to work for anything. Like girls come to him, and then he can just go get any girl, because he's getting that positive reinforcement as a young guy, and he's more confident than me, because maybe I was skinny fat in high school and my early 20s, like till 21. Then I started to make a change, but he didn't have to put in any work. I wasn't getting noticed by a lot of girls, you know. I had low confidence because if I went to go talk to girls, they would reject me, stuff like that. So I would have to go make a change. As a Chad, he didn't have to make a change. He didn't have to go through the same suffering as I did. I had to be like lonely, you know, low of intimacy, and I had to make a change. So when I turned 21, I went to go hit the gym, and I had no idea what I was doing in the first year, and I built somewhat of a decent body. It took me a year and a half to become like the average, like, you know, looking guy that has like flat belly, somewhat muscle, and that took me a year and a half. Maybe if someone else with good genetics, if they trained a year and a half, they have a ripped body. But for me, like a normal guy or you, we have to work twice as hard. And when we work twice as hard, we go through that suffering, discomfort, and we value that thing more than anything. Maybe the Chad, he does the same thing, but he doesn't keep that body because he only worked on it for like 6 months maybe, and he has that ripped body. And I worked on it for like 2 years, and now my body's getting where I want it to be, and I'm the best shape in my life, the strongest I've ever been. And I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna be able to maintain that body because it's gonna be a lifestyle. Or the Chad, he might fall off, he might get fat, and he's gonna fall off while we go through the years, and I'm gonna keep rising up because he's gonna be going out every weekend, partying, chasing girls, drinking all the alcohol. He's gonna get a beer belly by the time he's like in his late 20s. I'm gonna be like, you know, in my late 20s, I'm gonna be ripped, six pack, while he's gonna be like a beer belly and fat. So that suffering of not getting like intimacy, respect from other guys, being bullied and all that shit, that made me want to change and become better because of that suffering. So I hope you guys like are catching what I'm getting at. And I had to stay consistent with my diet, go to the gym 6 days a week, sacrifice weekends, sometimes parties, because I didn't want to drink. And that Chad, he didn't have to sacrifice anything. He could enjoy in his early 20s. Unfiltered section, if you guys made it this far, this is where I'm going to be like real, unfiltered, raw, and I'm going to tell you my life story. So I was suffering a lot. I work at a restaurant right now, and bro, like on the weekends I would work there, and I fucking hate the job. Sometimes like after my shift would end, I would like cry because of how painful the job was, like how I would get treated by other customers, and the pay is not good. And I started to get fed up. I'm like, I gotta make a change, and I decided to I started to work in the shadows, like to get my insurance adjusting license, because it'll pay me way better than the current job I'm working at the restaurant. And that suffering made me change, because sometimes I would cry at the end of my shift because I fucking hate the job. I get treated like shit, and the boss would like yell at me and shit. So that suffering made me want to get a better job. So this job, insurance adjusting license, is gonna make me way more income, like 10 times my income. And that suffering made me change, like I said. Yeah, so that was like my story. That's why I want a new job. I fucking hate that job. And you know, when you go through a breakup, you are way more motivated because your heart is shattered. Like, why did she leave me? So you go wake up 5 a.m. in the morning, go hit the gym, and become the best version of yourself, because that hurt, it made you stronger. That suffering, that discomfort, you want to get rid of that pain. So you go hit the gym harder, you build that aesthetic body. Like when my first breakup happened, bro, I was fucking devastated. Like, you have no idea. I never felt pain like that in my life. And I know you guys that been through breakups, that shit is fucking devastating hard, you know. And at that time it fucking hurts, I'm telling you. But looking back, it was a blessing in disguise because it made me change. It made me go to the gym religiously. It made me want to change. It made me more smarter, become better, so I don't have to go through that pain again. Every single person that's on top, like the greats, maybe like Ronaldo, Messi, if you guys watch football, Floyd Mayweather, all those people, you know, they went through a lot of fucking suffering. They had to make a lot of sacrifices, being lonely, missing out on clubs, missing out on relationships, because they had a better purpose, better mission to become great. So all those people, they suffered a lot, and whatever you're going through right now, that suffering is you're gonna look back and you're gonna enjoy the journey. You know, you're gonna look back. I look back into my suffering days, like working on that insurance adjusting license for 6 to 7 months. Every day I would work on it 2 hours a day, and then those failures, like on the test I failed 3 times. I felt like giving up. I was so close, and then the 4th time I took it, I passed. It was the best feeling ever because I put in that hard work. I went through that suffering, and that suffering made me better. Now my income has risen, and I'm gonna get my own apartment. I'm gonna get into MMA because that job is gonna give me money, and money can be used as a tool. So I'm gonna get my own apartment, get into MMA, get into salsa dancing, all that stuff, all that suffering from last 6 to 7 months I went through. Now it's all worth it because it's gonna make me even better. My income is higher. I'm getting more in shape, stronger I ever been in my life. So yeah, all that suffering, bro, like it made me better. So I hope I suffer more as a man. The more I suffer, the better I'll become. You gotta have this mindset. Whenever you go through hardships, whenever you go through suffering, be like, yeah, bring it on. I like this challenge. Like, this is going to make me better. Don't be pessimist. Don't be like, oh, why is this happening to me? Why people out of me? Like, if your girl leaves you, cheats on you, fucks some other guy, be like, okay, she did that to me because maybe I did some shit wrong. You know, like, girls don't just go cheat on you for no reason. So it'll make you a better man. And if you can't attract those high quality women, those 9s and 10s, this is going to make you change too. And because that suffering of not getting those 9s and 10s, them being with other guys, that's going to make you better man. But I'm telling you, man, I hope you suffer. I hope you go through hard shit, man. Like, this is all like love, you know. And I hope I go through more shit like this. I'm prepared for it. You gotta have this mindset, be like, good, this is happening to me. This is going to make me better. My mental toughness is going to be better. So yeah, if you guys want one-on-one fitness coaching, click the link in the below, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.